Welcome, welcome, welcome to CJC online platform and Your Health and You. Yes, we are back. So remember to like and subscribe. Your Health and You is a production of the Central Jamaica Conference Health Ministries Department, and it is designed to present to you health-related topics using evidence-based information and naturopathic remedies. Your Health and You is aired every Thursday. That's right, every Thursday at 7:15 p.m. with a focus on general health on first Thursdays, men's health on the second Thursday, women's health on third Thursdays, and on fourth Thursdays we have children's health, and on fifth Thursdays mental health. Now you should know this program is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute providing medical advice or professional services. Before embarking on any health-related information presented, kindly seek advice or counsel of a doctor or a healthcare professional. Now, for this evening's program, we will be talking about leprosy. Before we dive into our topic, let's enjoy a reading from the book Counsels on Health from Ellen G. White, after which Pastor Howard Grant will lead us into prayer.
To him were presented the needs and woes of humanity throughout the world. Among the high and the low, the most honored and the most degraded, he beheld souls who were longing for the very blessing he had come to bring. Souls who needed only a knowledge of his grace, to become subjects of his kingdom. Then saith he unto his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Matthew 9:36-38. Today, the same needs exist. The world is in need of workers who will labor as Christ did for the suffering and the sinful. There is indeed a multitude to be reached. The world is full of sickness, suffering, distress, and sin. It is full of those who need to be ministered unto, the weak, the helpless, the ignorant, the degraded.
Let us pray. Our God and our Heavenly Father, we are grateful, Lord, for your blessings. We're thankful, Lord, for another opportunity to share your words and your message with others. We ask this evening, dear Lord, that as we continue this premier program, this missionary activity, that you'll be with us, be with the presenters, be with those, dear Lord, who will be listening. And may something be said, Lord, that will benefit someone health-wise, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Celebrations, exercise. You already know you should exercise, but do you really understand the benefits of exercise and its impact on your life? Studies clearly demonstrate that regular physical activity provides many health benefits, preventing weight gain, lowering your risk of high blood pressure, breast cancer, and colon cancer. And the list goes on, but regular exercise isn't just a preventative measure. It also helps maintain good health. In fact, being physically active contributes to your health with a long-term perspective. However, it's also very important to know your limits. Otherwise, even commonly recommended exercises might cause harm. There are 3 basic types of physical activities: flexibility, aerobic, and resistance exercises. Consult with a physical professional to determine which types of activities are best for you, and create an exercise plan. Just as regular exercise helps you live better, so it is with exercising faith. You can trust God to lead your life according to His loving prescription for health.
Ever wish you didn't have to fold laundry, mow the lawn, or take out the trash? A study published recently in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that seniors who expended the most energy on daily duties were less likely to have mental declines as they aged. Participants in the most active group were 91% less likely to experience declines in memory, concentration, and language abilities after 5 years than those in the least active group. And that's a fact. But there's hope. While a regular exercise program is an important part of a healthy lifestyle, don't overlook physical activity throughout the day. The seniors in the most active group burned most of their calories in activities of daily living, reporting doing more walking, climbing more stairs, engaging in more caregiving and volunteering, and just moving more overall. Although not typically thought of as exercise, these physical activities get our heart rate up and improve circulation while also protecting brain function.
I don't have, at this point, a structured exercise program, but I am still engaged in physical activity. So I'm happy to know that I'm still doing something positive in that area. This evening, in our Did You Know feature, we want to ask, did you know? Did you know that biblical leprosy is still an active disease today with 200,000 new cases every year? Did you know that in Jamaica, leprosy affects at least 1 in every 10,000 persons? Did you also know that there have been new cases of leprosy reported in Florida and the Caribbean? And that the Leprosy Act, yes, leprosy has an act, of 1949, also known as the Hansen's Disease Act, was formed to govern and establish provisions for care and custody of those who have leprosy in Jamaica. That is, anyone suffering from the illness would be required to be confined to a leprosarium or a leper home. Did you know? If you didn't, now you do. Well, family, tonight we're talking, or this evening we're talking leprosy. And our guest presenter is Dr. Kemar T. Douglas, medical doctor. He is also a pastor and the director of Health Ministries here at the Central Jamaica Conference. And guess what? He also celebrated his birthday today. And Pastor, we are hoping that you had a good day. Our online family, we want you to share in the discussion. So please remember to type your questions in the chat. We will now have to go to a feature, but after which it will be time for our talk on leprosy with Dr. Kemar Douglas.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church Central Jamaica Conference, in association with Portmore, Tent City, Gregory Park, Hellshire, and Brayton District of Churches, invites you to Countdown to the End evangelistic series with evangelist Dr. Cheyenne O'Connor, March 3 to 30, under the Big White Tent, Municipal Boulevard, Greater Portmore, St. Catherine, across from the JUTC depot. Come hear dynamic preaching from Sundays to Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:15 nightly and 9:15 a.m. on Sabbaths. That's the Countdown to the End evangelistic series from March 3 to March 30. Come and be blessed. For more information, visit www.centralja.org.
Hi, hello, and it's good to be here. And thank you for the birthday wishes. We are indeed delightful that this is our first program of our Your Health and You. And we are indeed looking forward to having a wonderful time throughout the year as we look at different health topics. And of course, your input is important to us. We have designed this program to be very spiritual, to offer naturopathic remedies, and also to discuss cutting edge issues and things that are going on right now in society. And we need you to be a part of it. And of course, we have segmented our program in a way that we can reach every single part of our community: general health, men's health, women's health, and of course, children's health. And we are indeed grateful and happy that you are here with us. And it is my birthday. So it's a wonderful birthday gift indeed to be here and to speak about a topic that is gaining prominence now: leprosy, with the number of new cases that are around. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for being the host of this program. And as you said in your openings line, the Leprosy Act is still enacted now in Jamaica. The leper's home is still active. However, I think the Minister of Health, Dr. Tufton, tabled in the Parliament a bill to repeal the Leprosy Act, but it's currently still in existence. So that being said, we are going to have a wonderful discussion. We want you to be careful because leprosy outbreak is actually there right now. And currently, Florida is one of the states being affected in a major way by leprosy. All right. So at this time, I'm just waiting for my host to reappear, and then we're going to go through our discussion. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for
Hi,
having me.
hi. All
All
right.
right.
So I suppose for those who don't know what leprosy is, we are all excited and wondering, what is leprosy? So I'm sure you're going to share with us what is leprosy.
Well, leprosy is a very old disease. Actually, it's a biblical disease. It's one that we have been acquainted with. It's one that we have seen Christ pronounce healing. It's remarkable how the Bible, in its precision, described what needed to happen when it came on to this particular disease. So if we go to like Leviticus chapter 13, we will find that the Bible gives a little bit of background on what needs to be done with this particular problem. It says, when the plague of leprosy, Leviticus 13, verse 9 onwards, it says, when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, there shall be quick and raw flesh in the rising. It is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And the leprosy shall break out aboard his skin, and the leprosy shall cover his skin, and the plague from his head to his foot, whatsoever the priest look at. And the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall be pronounced, and of course, they be sent into quarantine. That is what the Bible did when it came on to leprosy. Now, in our time, of course, we have advanced in our care of individuals who suffer from leprosy. And leprosy is actually a bacterial infection. Leprosy is caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae. And this bacteria attacks the skin, as the Bible rightly says. It attacks the peripheral nerves. It leads to ulcers or sores that tends to be very white. It makes the hair fall out and also turn white. It is debilitating. It can actually cover your head to your toe. And of course, you end up losing your fingers, and you may even lose your nose. You may lose parts of your body. The thing is that leprosy doesn't actually kill you. And that is why the Bible said, put them in their own little quarantine. You send them away and they go to their own village. Here in Jamaica, of course, we had leprosy homes that people would be sent to, and they were locked away. So leprosy is caused by a bacteria, and that's how it is. A simple bacteria, and therefore anything that is bacterial, we go to treatment later, just requires a level of antibiotics. So that's what leprosy is. And one can actually have leprosy in their body for up to 20 years before actually seeing a sign. That happens. And for some persons, it can be quicker than for the 20 years, but that's what it is. Leprosy is a bacterial infection.
All right. Thank you. That's a mouthful. Wow. But Doc, I think your screen, there he is, a smiling face. Wonderful. So, if I have leprosy, how can I spread that to others?
Hard to spread.
Yes.
Surprisingly, 95 of the persons who are exposed to this bacterium don't actually get it. So it's very hard to spread. But if you're in close contact with an individual repeatedly, and the honest truth is that we don't really know exactly how it is spread. We have a theory that is through contact, is through sneezing, is through coughing, and those droplets to the other person. Because it's bacterial, you have to be in close contact with the person. Unlike COVID, which is a virus which can float in the air, bacteria doesn't have that ability. So hence, what we'll find is that the person will be close contact and talking to each other, maybe repeated exposure. That is how you will pick up leprosy. That's a general method. For some persons, it can be quicker. For some persons, it can take up to 20 years before we actually see manifestation. The average human being should have enough in their body to fight off this bacterium. But of course, we don't know who is susceptible to it or who isn't. And therefore, one needs to protect themselves, especially with the fact that we are now having an increased caseload of this particular disease right now across the world. Not only in Florida or in the Caribbean, but there are some other continents that have this issue and an outbreak there also.
Wow. Okay. So, what are the symptoms? What are some of the things we may experience?
Well, for as I said, for most persons, when you're infected initially in that inoculation period, you will actually see nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing will happen. You'll be fine. You go about your day. You may have a slight little fever and it'll go away. But then, as the disease progresses, you will start recognizing that you may start having ulcers, or you might start having these white spots. The Bible will say some white spots will appear.
Oh,
And
yes.
leprosy is kind of strange because you have different versions of leprosy. You have one that is not as bad. It's just a single form. You can just one little source somewhere, and it's just there, just warning, say, "Hey, I'm here. I won't harm you yet. I'm here. Give me some time. I will start harming you in the future, but right now you're good." And then you have others. The worst form, the multiform version, will actually cover you with sores. And once you start seeing that happening, it can be treated before it gets really, really serious. Because if it's not treated, you will start seeing, like, we know of cases where the bacteria infects your nostrils, the lining of your nostrils on the inside. And so therefore, you're going to have the cough and the sneezing, and your nose will probably run, and you think you're okay. But then it starts to eat away somehow at the cartilage of your nose. And then suddenly you end up one day with a complete collapse. So therefore, you will see individuals with no nose. Basically, it's all gone because of it. You have individuals who end up losing the peripheral senses in their hands and in their legs will go because the bacteria will attack the nerves. And when it's injured, they don't even know they're injured. They don't feel the pain. They don't feel anything. And they will start losing digits, or they have to be amputated to get them over, to kind of release them from all that other infection that comes when your digits are actually injured. Similar to those who have diabetes and they have a little cut on their foot and they don't even know because they didn't feel it. And then other bacteria may actually infect and cause an issue. Leprosy has that same ability. you don't actually feel when you're injured, and therefore end up losing your digits. You end up losing control over your nerves. You end up not being able to walk anymore. But that's when it has gone a little bit too far. And of course, we don't want it to get to that stage. So we recommend that if you start seeing a little, a little sore on your body that doesn't seem like it wants to go away, that's what leprosy is. The sore doesn't heal. So you have this sore, it pops up, you think it should have disappeared already, and like a week has passed and the sore is still there. 2 weeks have passed, the sore is still there. 3 weeks have passed, and you say, no man, this sore is not healing. It could be that it is leprosy. And because it's not something that many doctors are acquainted with, 'cause it's seen as a very ancient disease, sometimes it's not caught immediately. But in this very heightened environment now, other persons are looking out for it and trying to make sure that they don't misdiagnose when this happens.
Right. Talking
Right.
about misdiagnosing. I suppose if I see a sore somewhere that's not going away, I'm going to start diagnosing. But what else do we do for diagnosis?
All right. So leprosy is kind of strange in how it's diagnosed, but it does take time for us to basically verify what's going on with this particular pathogen in our body. And sometimes it can actually be kind of misdiagnosed. Let me explain what I mean. Because there are three different variants of this disease, they're all still leprosy, but how they appear on the body. So the one that only comes with only like one or two little sores versus the one that comes up with many sores. When we do the test, sometimes the test will only be able to confirm if you have leprosy, if it's the one that have one or two sores. If the one that has many sores, the test may actually come back negative. But the thing is that if you're seeing many sores that are not healing and they're white and all that, then of course one will think that this is serious. So it does require the a version of the leprosy bacterium being placed under your skin. So we take one that is an inactive form of leprosy and we give it to you. And then we watch to see how the body responds to that inactive form. And based on its reaction to that inactive form, then we can say, okay, you have leprosy or you don't have leprosy. Or, well, if you had the major one, then we know that you have it already. But that's how it is done. So we give you an inactive version of leprosy.
So you give me leprosy to prove whether or not I have leprosy.
Yes, an inactive version. And
An
it's similar
inactive
to
version.
what,
Hear that card.
yes, it's similar to what we do with our vaccines. Our vaccines are normally inactive. We have live vaccines, but majority of vaccines are inactive versions of the actual pathogen to allow the body to build up its immunity against it. But yes, we inject you with an inactive form.
Everybody wants to know, how is it treated and is it curable?
The treatment is long, and yes, it is curable. So therefore, you don't. So that's the blessing of this one, right? You can actually cure this one, but it's going to be a long regime. And where we find individuals struggle is when we give them a long regime to follow. So the shortest time for this medication to work is 6 months. That's the shortest time. But traditionally, it will go up to a year of treatment. That means every single day you are going to be taking an antibiotic to fight this bacteria every year, every day. And then we have other bacteria. So we're going to give you a double therapy or triple therapy, depending on how this bacteria has affected you, what version of it you may have. So therefore, it is treatable. It's just like going to take us a little while to actually treat you. The good thing is that once leprosy is caught early, the treatment is very effective and you don't suffer the nerve damage, you don't suffer the peripheral damages, you don't suffer the damage with your digits, you don't suffer being crippled. You don't suffer the deformity of your nose and section of your face. You don't suffer from all of those diseases or those repercussions of having leprosy. So it's actually curable.
Wow,
Wow,
wonderful.
wonderful.
So, how do we prevent this? Prevent ourselves from becoming, is leprosed a word?
All right. So, like any other bacterial infection, one has to be cleanliness is important.
Yes.
Washing is important. When you are traveling, it's important that you are aware. Now, when we when COVID outbreak came, people were asked to, and then monkeypox came afterward. That's another one. People were told, hey, when you're flying, don't wear clothes that expose your skin. You know, don't go on the plane with shorts. Don't go on buses and in taxis with shorts where your skin is going to come in contact with a surface. You don't need to expose yourself like that. So avoid skin exposure, not just for leprosy, but also for monkeypox and a few other diseases that are actually around. In fact, measles, we don't have measles much in Jamaica, thank God. Our vaccination system actually worked very, very well. So measles has to be imported into Jamaica. But there are other countries that still have measles. So you don't want to expose your skin unnecessarily to the environment around you. You don't know who was sitting where you're going to sit. You don't know. So protect yourself and cover your skin. That's number one. That's like basic, basic, basic. The second thing is that if somebody is repeatedly sneezing and coughing in your presence, you don't know whether they have a viral infection or a bacterial infection. So for your own sake, you need to tell the person, hey, you're sneezing, you're coughing. Can you please wear a mask? Can you please cover your mouth? That's the regular thing that we used to tell a person, place a rag over you when you're coughing and stuff like that. But if you're unable to tell them that, because some person can be very, very arrogant sometimes, then you need to protect yourself. So they mean wearing a mask, especially when you're in an environment where you know that this is actually prevalent. Because as you said in your opening line, there are over 200,000 new cases every year. It's just that this side of the hemisphere, we don't get much. Jamaica has not really seen much, but there are other parts of the world where this is endemic, and
Yes.
therefore people may travel from those areas, and they may actually travel with the bacteria. So, of course, wearing masks is still a good thing, especially when you are interacting and when you're traveling. It's always the best practice at this point in time, based on what's going on now in our environment. So that's how you prevent it. Your own personal care, your own hygiene, washing your hands, not exposing yourself openly to these things. And of course, if you must, or somebody's coughing, you may need to probably wear a mask just to avoid catching it. And the thing is, you can get it and you don't even know for up to 20 years. So you really, yes, up to 20 years. So,
So within
so
that
within
20 years, can you spread it to anyone?
it's not fully known if you are going to be contagious in that incubation period.
Yes.
But what we do know is that most of what we know of leprosy is often spread when it's actually showing signs. When
It's
you
showing
start having
signs.
that pus-like ulcers on your skin, then that's when
Right.
it tends to be a little bit more contagious. But sometimes if that is actually hidden, like in your nostrils, so the sores are actually inside your nostril, you can still spread it even though physically you may not be covered from head to toe with the spots.
All right. There you have it. There you have it. We have learned so much about leprosy. Apart from your questions, I see one or two questions. I see what caused leprosy, but we'll get to that. We'll ask Dr. Kamar to look at that again for us. But we have learned a lot. So you can share in the chat what you have learned, what you remember. Now we're going to have a feature, and after this feature, you will have a chance to ask your questions. We'll look at the questions and we'll have a naturopathic recommendation. We're hoping that Sister Davine Gale will be able to join us so she can give you the naturopathic remedies for leprosy. You don't want to miss that, so we will see you after the feature.
Researchers have found that at ages 9 and 11, more than 90% of children met the recommended levels of moderate to vigorous physical activity recommended for children. By age 15, however, only 31% met the recommended level on weekdays and 17% met the recommended level on weekends. The researchers estimated that physical activity declined by about 40 minutes per day each year. That's a fact. But there's hope. Even walking for as few as 15 minutes a day provides health benefits. If your children do not exercise often, encourage family activities like bike riding, hiking, playing ball, or swimming. Planning active family events will keep your entire family fit and healthy.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church Central Jamaica Conference, in association with Portmore, Tent City, Gregory Park, Hellshire, and Brayton District of Churches, invites you to Countdown to the End evangelistic series with evangelist Dr. Cheyenne O'Connor, March 3 to 30, under the Big White Tent, Municipal Boulevard, Greater Portmore, St. Catherine, across from the JUTC depot. Come hear dynamic preaching from Sundays to Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:15 nightly and 9:15 a.m. on Sabbaths. That's the Countdown to the End evangelistic series from March 3 to March 30. Come and be blessed. For more information, visit www.centralja.org.
Time to hear about the natural remedies that can help us to fight or treat leprosy. And I'm told Sister Davina Gale is here with us this evening to tell us just that. Sister Davina?
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and good night. And we can look at a few ways how we can help our bodies to fight this disease.
Yes.
And we want to look at ways of boosting the immune system. So that is one of the first things that we want to do, is to boost up our immune system. And you want to do that by subsisting on a whole food, plant-based diet. You want to avoid all processed food, avoid all dairy type foods, which will increase your risk of inflammation and will increase your risk of mucus and other damages. You want to avoid flesh foods as well. And you want to increase things like your beans, your legume intake, your nuts, your seeds, your whole grains, like your brown rice. That is better for you to consume rather than something like your white rice. Grains like your quinoa, your oats, buckwheat, amaranth. These are much healthier grains for you to consume to help to boost the immune system. In terms of stuff that you can find maybe in your kitchen cupboard, home remedies or some natural remedies, you're looking at things like ginger. This is very antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. So making your regular ginger tea, blending up some ginger with stuff like your onion and your garlic and a little cloves, oregano oil, these will help to also boost your immune system and help your body to be able to better be able to fight this infection. You want to look at things as well that you could use externally on the skin to help with some of the sores and the wound healing. And you're looking at something as simple as your honey, something as simple as aloe vera plant that we can get outside in our backyard. Things like these. Boil up some cloves. Boil some cloves with some pimento. Make a tea. Use this to wash yourself. This will help. Other herbs like your rosemary. These are very good for the nervous system as well as the skin, and will help you, because there's a lot of stigma as well attached to leprosy, and because of the way how it can affect the skin. You want to make sure that you are doing things to help to protect these areas. So these are a few of the things that you can do. In addition, consider how you're dressing. Dress to help the blood to circulate around the body. When the blood is circulating around the body properly, your immune system will be much more bolstered, and you will have a better chance of resisting, fighting this thing, and keeping it at bay for much longer. So we want to dress by covering our limbs, keeping them warm. So the blood is not rushed away from the limbs and being congested around the organ areas, because when the blood is congested around the organ, then you're exposing yourself and putting yourself at risk of even more diseases. So you want to look at keeping the limbs covered when you're dressing. Also, things like your water. Water is one of our number one remedy in getting rid of microbes. So something as simple as washing your hands regularly, having a regular shower, drinking lots of water. Do not leave your system to be parched and dehydrated. By doing this, again, you increase your own risk of being at a higher risk of being infected, and for the infection to worsen by not drinking sufficient water. Something as lovely as our sunshine, things that we often, I think that we often neglect. We tend to shy away from the sun by staying inside or staying in air-conditioned offices. But your sunshine has many healing properties, a rich source of your vitamin D. And when your vitamin D levels are at optimal for the body to perform, this reduces your risk and helps you to keep diseases at bay much easier. So you want to make sure that you're getting your daily fix of anywhere between 15 minutes to 45 minutes of sunshine daily. And you also want to eat foods that are also that you can get some vitamin D from, stuff like your mushrooms, some seaweeds as well, you can include in your diet. Now, looking at a few things that you could supplement with to help to boost your immune system. I don't necessarily recommend supplementing with vitamin C, because I think we just need to eat an abundance of fruits to get our vitamin C in our bodies. Your limes, your lemons, your apples, your oranges, your grapes, your melons. These give you a good supply of vitamin C. Even your green leafy vegetables, your lettuce, put these in your salads and you'll get a nice supply of vitamin C. Other vitamins, you want to make sure that your B levels are up. So have your grains again, your whole grains, have those. Your minerals, make sure your mineral levels are up as well. So by eating a whole food plant-based diet, this will help you to keep your mineral and your vitamin levels up. Things like your pumpkin seeds, your sunflower seeds, your flax seeds, chia seeds. These are important for you to have at this time, because it will also help to boost the immune system. And honey, internally as well as externally, will give you a good fight against invasive bacteria.
Wow. Thank you, Sister Gail. I wrote down boost the immune system, dress to help the blood circulate, and a balanced diet. Did I get it?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I see Dr. Kamar in the chat. Sister Berlin Duncan had said, what is the cause of leprosy? But you had a bright student, Sister Almarie Riley, and he said it's a bacteria. So I would like you to tell them the name of the bacteria. So they are
Mycobacterium leprae. That's the scientific name for it, but it's just leprosy or Hansen disease, named after the doctor who actually discovered it. Technically, he didn't really discover it because it was a biblical disease that we have known for like forever. But he did some work on it that actually led to the fact that it can be treated with antibiotics. So Hansen disease is the other name given to it. For men, this disease is really bad. Okay, for men, leprosy likes the cooler parts of our body. So it likes our fingers, it likes our toes, and it also likes the men organ. So it will actually lead to infertility and may lead to it actually not working anymore. Erectile dysfunction is a known thing with this bacteria. And because it takes 5 to 20 years for us sometimes to see the effects, you don't know it's damaging you until the damage is done. That's the nature of this bacteria. It's very slow. The shortest time is 6 months, and there are cases where it goes up to 40 years before it actually does the damage it needs to do. It's a very slow bacteria, but yes, it can create major damage. So for men, it is really, really serious because it likes the cooler, softer areas of the body, and therefore that's where it will grow and then cause damage.
Wow. So for just about any disease though, Sister Gail, boosting the immune system and a balanced diet, that will help us to ward off these things, even leprosy that we can get and don't know that we have it, right?
Exactly.
Yes, beautiful,
And
wonderful. You
if
were
you
adding?
find yourself coming down with something, then you jump on the teas. You jump on the hydrotherapies by boiling your teas and using them to douse yourself down. Wash yourself in your clove tea, your pimento tea, your quaker bush. Things like these will help you to bolster up the immune system. Doing your hot and cold treatments, your 3 minutes of hot, 20, 30 seconds of cold, and repeating that 3 times, ending with cold to close the pores. Things like these will bolster up the immune system and give you a better chance at winning this battle.
Wow. Pastor Kimar, you know quaker bush?
No, I don't. I heard you say that. What is this?
Quaker bush. I don't know it, but it sounds exciting.
And I do agree with boosting the immune system because, as I said, 95% of individuals exposed to the bacteria don't get it. So having a good, strong, robust immune system is actually key in fighting off this disease. So 100% agree. Boost your system. Your vitamin D, of course, is critical. Get your sunlight. It is critical. Your vitamin Bs and your vitamin Cs. And of course, Davina, some little zinc will not hurt also to help the membranes of our system.
Wonderful. I have learned so much, and I'm hoping that you have too. So this first in our series, Your Health and You, and we've talked about leprosy. And man, I learned so much. So I'm hoping that, well, I see Sister Shireen saying very informative. So somebody was listening and others may have learned as well. So I want to thank you, Pastor Kimar, for joining us and telling us on your birthday about leprosy, and Sister Davina Gale for having joined us to tell us about the naturopathic remedies that can help us with fighting a disease such as leprosy. And I want to thank you too, our family, for joining us this evening on Your Health and You. Now we are asking to remember to share the video. And next week, Thursday, at 7:15, yes, we will be here again, and we will be focusing on, yes, you're right, because you would have heard it, men's health. And our topic will be benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. So in other words, we want you to come, but you're going to invite the men to come because we're going to be talking about prostate health. And I know a lot of persons are interested in this topic. They want to know more about it. So you have to spread the word and tell others to come. Join us here where you will learn how to deal with your prostate. You'll learn all about prostate and benign prostatic hyperplasia. And of course, we will have somebody to talk about the naturopathic remedies as well. So invite all to join. And tonight we were 67 strong. I'm sure next week we will have more persons on the platform because you have shared and you have invited others to come and join us. 3 John 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. And that is what God wants for all of us. So let us prosper and be in good health. This is a good medium to learn how to be in good health. So join us every Thursday evening at 7:15 p.m. and we will be here to talk with you. God bless you and see you next week.
Thank you.